Welcome everyone, I'm Jordan Sharp. As we are still about 3 months away from the NFL season, it's never too early to start taking a look at some of these Week 1 NFL odds and identifying some potential values as we head closer to the regular season. Now, even though we are still far out, I think there could be some total betting values here in Week 1 of the season as we are all still in the summer here, and I've already released some ATS plays as well here, but we'll start it off with the total in New York where the JETS Jets are playing host to the Cleveland Browns, and the Jets come in as a favorite of 2.5. But the total here at 41 points has gone up 1 point since it opened. However, I think this could be a very good chance to bet the under between these two teams. Obviously, New York's offense is much improved. Their defense is still going to be very, very good. But even with Rex Ryan gone, they are still going to rely on a heavy stable of running backs in this game, probably going to relinquish the pressure as much as they can on Geno Smith, which means playing defense and running the football with their very big stable of running backs, including newly acquired Stephen Ridley. Now, for the Browns in this instance, defense still very good, but their offense is probably going to be one of the worst in the NFL coming up this season. Likely still going to be the fourth-place team in the AFC North, and likely not going to be able to score much more than a couple of touchdowns against this very stout Jets defense, if that, on the road in Week number 1, depending on who their quarterback is, which is still very much up in the air, I think. You could be looking at a very, very good undervalue here in Week 1 of the season between the Browns and the Jets. Another total that I think I've had my eye on here for some time now is the Miami Dolphins and the Washington Redskins. We talked about the Miami Dolphins as a team that potentially going to have a lot of overvalue heading into the season with potentially not a great defense, but still a much improved offense. And on top of that, the Redskins defense likely not going to be too much of a stopper here at home, even against the Miami Dolphins. But their offense, if RG3 can get it together here under the coaching staff there, I think you could see him actually present pretty good value here for the over as well. 44 points, not a huge amount for these two offenses to both put up 3 touchdowns and a handful of field goals. You could see a very, very good over value for these two teams at 44 points. I expect that total to actually rise a little bit, I think, between now and the regular season, but it's stuck at 44 to 44.5 so far this offseason. Finally, the Titans and the Bucks square off in Week number 1. Of course, a battle of the first two picks in the NFL draft. Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston has a total of 42 points from Tampa Bay here in this one. Now, these two young quarterbacks come with a little bit of rust. You could see the under as a very, very good value. Depending on the coaches and what they want to do here, it could be that they don't want to rely too much on their new rookie starters here in Week number 1, opt to run the ball a little bit more. Both teams actually opt to run the ball a little bit more. So even though the Titans probably looking like a team that might lose this game, they're also looking like a team that might not be able to score too many points here unless Marcus Mariota can really turn it on. But he doesn't have too many weapons right now, and neither does Tampa Bay really outside of their stout wide receiving core. The question is whether or not Jameis Winston can get them the ball and get on the same page with them here heading into this season. So even though this one's a little bit more risky, I think, than the first two I mentioned, I still think the under could have pretty good value at 42 points between these two teams. That'll do it for me this time. Make sure you check out, as I mentioned, some of my early ATS plays for Week 1 of the NFL season. But until then, I'm Jordan Sharp, and this has been another edition of the Sharp Pick.